right, welcome back to the next episode of Unlock Your Mind, a Universal Wealth podcast. I'm Andre Pennington. Check me out on official Andre Pennington at IG.
Boom.
And my co-host, the great Jason Beauvais.
Man, fired up for today. What do we got today?
I love this topic. You must fail to win.
Man, that sounds like not very motivational.
No.
Sounds like a not motivational topic. Hey, can I say something before we get going?
But I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm fired up. This is the essence. But before we get going, I don't want to, last time we had the elephant in the room was the fact that I had a mini energy drink and you had a large one. But this is the elephant in the room because Friday night, tomorrow night.
Oh, my gosh.
Are you not entertained?
Gladiator 2 comes out and Denzel Washington's in it. I'm like, what? Hey, I told my wife, date night.
Date
She's
night,
like,
that's what I'm
fired up.
saying.
And I'm like, we're going to see Gladiator 2. And this is what I'm like, all right, I'm calling Andre. Date night with Andre. We're going on a date night. Me and you. No, it's just she'll, but dude, how excited I am.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do no spoiler, but I watched the trailer thing. Is it the kid?
Yeah, it's the kid.
Oh God! Yesterday, I only saw the first one. This one I saw. I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm pumped for it, man.
listen, he had to fail to win, but he passed away in that movie. But
There
I'm
you
just
go.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
That was yeah.
Hey,
We're all gonna do that.
That's
There
all
you
gonna
go.
happen. But anyway, I just want to point that out. I'm so glad you picked this up. I knew that when I saw the second one was coming out, I got fired up. But anyway, we'll get into this real quick. But can I read this real fast and then
Read
we'll get
it.
rolling? I think this is cool. I found this right. Must fail to win means that in order to achieve success, one must be willing to experience failures along the way, as these failures provide valuable lessons and opportunities for growth that ultimately lead to victory. Essentially, failure is a necessary step towards winning.
For me, that leaves me speechless because when we thought of the topic, which was right when we walked in, I was told the topic.
Yes.
I was like, is there any other way to win?
Dude, there is no other way.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part because people want to avoid failure. Like it is built into us. I want to avoid discomfort. I want to avoid pain. I want to avoid failure is all those things.
It's all of them.
Right? It's uncomfortable. It's painful. It takes shots at your self-worth, your self-esteem. But that's the part you got to power through, right?
No, 100%. I think what's important is we can look at anything. Look at sports. You go through all this stuff, right? You look at Michael Jordan. They talk about all these stories. You see it. But, it's real. He really didn't get picked. Was high school, right? Was it a high school team? Was it high school or was it college? I don't remember.
No, it's his high school basketball team.
Yeah, so, hey, you're not good enough, right? Right? I'm like, okay, that coach didn't know about basketball very well. Or maybe at that point he wasn't as good as he thought he was at that moment. Maybe he wasn't putting the work in. But I just think as we look through our journey of life, and I know we talked off camera, to me, I think words shape your mind to get where you want to go. So I said to you, I changed the word failing to learning, right? In my mind, because people, most people, their identity is not built up to deal with, man, you're a failure, right? We're always trying to achieve something in our brain to get there. But I changed it to learning, man. Anything you do in life is all a learning curve. And it says it right there in that. But think about when you went in the law, how much time was there in learning and made some missteps. And then you're like, hey, I'm going to go start a trucking company. I mean, there's probably some times in there where you had to, hey, I'm going to, I understand kind of being in the system a little bit, understand that. But now I'm going to go open homes to help everybody. And I think you said you forgot that you can set it all up, but you have to get the grant from the state, right?
Yeah.
But also
the contract.
Yeah, you have to have a contract,
Yeah,
right?
That was great. That was an awesome experience, by the way.
And I don't want to comb into some of these because I think we can give specific examples. And then you're like, hey, I'm going to now bring insurance and wealth preservation into my law firm. And there was hiccups during that whole process as we're doing it, right?
Yes.
You're like, wait, this takes this long. So my point to all of it is, every time you venture in or try to move in a direction, you're going to have missteps or, in this one's failure, they say, right? Or lessons you're going to learn. What I want to talk a little bit about too, and I'll let you kind of cover some of those that happen with you, but is how do you get to a point where you're so efficient that you understand it's learning, but then we don't have failure? To me is you learn and you keep doing the same thing over again the wrong way. That to me is when you have failure.
Right.
Learning's okay. But I don't know if you want to maybe grab a couple times when maybe you were thinking of it could be any one of those businesses you did. It doesn't matter which one you want to pick or journeys where it looked like failure, but it was actually a lesson that got you to the next step. Is there anything you could think of?
Man, there's a lot
I
I
know.
could think of.
Yes.
I mean, the first point in there is I don't know any other way to win at all.
There is no other way.
There is no other way. So
Let's just cement that now.
cement that.
There's no other way.
There's no other way. So every experience I have, even daily, involves failure,
Yes.
right? I hear no a lot.
Me too.
A lot, because we're pushing boundaries, right? So when I think of an exact experience, the greatest failure that I ever felt like, well, I was is my first time alone with my son.
Yeah.
He was an infant. It's my first time taking him
It's
out.
always a scary,
Yeah.
especially as the dad.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
like focused. I'm like, I'm gonna do this, right? He's gonna come back safely. First thing I do when I turn the car on the corner, car seat goes rolling across the seat.
Oh my God.
I forgot
To buckle it in.
I forgot to buckle it in.
It's a little tiny thing you probably should do.
And the reason I'm picking that over business
Yep.
in this moment is because that's what life's about. Like, that taught me how important parenthood is, right? It taught me how important, like, I was so focused and I forgot like the main thing,
Yep.
right? And it taught me, like, okay, number one, you're not as smart as you think you are. You're not as all these things you think about yourself. Like, that car seat was rolling across the car. So it's the humbling experience. And then after that, it's the will, like, I'm going to learn from that.
Fact.
And I'm never going to do something like that again. Right. Which I'm proud to say all other 5 kids made it safely without rolling across the seat. No, that might not be the most impactful moment.
No, it's important though.
Right. But like, to me, that's life. Right. So, like, I have clients all the time. Like, I'm talking about the most intricate law pieces there are for asset protection. Right. And some of my clients I know are saying no to it because they don't understand it the way I understand it.
Fact.
And they want an explanation that brings them all the way to understanding it the way I do. And it's just not going to happen.
Yep.
Because I've been doing this for about 20 years.
Yep.
And it takes longer than an hour or two to master it. Right? So somebody might say no. Does that mean I don't know what I'm doing? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Right? So I have to hear that no in a day because of their discomfort.
Yep. Fact.
And then the next client that walks in, I've got to do my best. But I can't go into it with, oh, somebody didn't understand. They said no.
Dude, you're hitting a main point right here. The reason people are like hesitant to go after something is that exact point. You know that you've put the time in, you've put the due diligence in to know that what you're explaining is right. They are like, nah, I'm good. And then we internally beat ourselves up and try to re-examine everything in our brain instead of being like, this is just part of the game. The part of the game is that sometimes you're going to do something and someone else isn't going to see it. You can't re-examine everything and change everything because of someone's opinion or their own response or lack of knowledge on what you're saying. So then this takes sales, for example, right? If I'm in sales, it doesn't matter what it is, and I'm talking or offering a product and they say no, and then right behind that you have another person. Are you thinking, most people are thinking about the person that just said no instead of being like, I got a fresh slate. I'm going to do the same game. It's like, I go back to sports because I'm a sports guy. It's like, you're going to throw the football different this time because the guy didn't catch the ball going across the middle. No, you're going to freaking throw it the same way. And so you go back and it's clearing the mind. But one thing I want to bring up too, I think that's important, is when you start talking failure, right?
Yeah.
A lot of it is pulled around people honestly thinking about other people's opinions. And they're allowing that to now become their story. Now, we've given episodes about self-discipline. We've given about come out of your comfort zone. If you've done all those things that we said and you have self-discipline and you have a way that you've built yourself up, then how could you honestly have any issue with what's going on? I think a lot of it is that fear of allowing that mind. So my point is this, like, we know failures, it has to happen. You tie fear and all this stuff, and we know it's all, not real most of the time. It's something that's made up in the head. But I think sometimes people instead of saying, okay, I've studied, I've learned, I know what I'm presenting, I know who I am, I know what I'm going after. They try to change it up all the time based off of the result of what you just said in your situation. I'm sitting down with the client, or I'm going to give a new idea to somebody and try to start a business, and that person's reaction is a no. And then instead of being like, all right, that's your loss, I'm going to do the same thing again to get the result I know I'm going to get, they start changing all their stuff, and then they keep failing, not because they don't know what they're doing. They keep failing because they keep changing the breakdown of what they're doing. So I see it all the time. It's just in anything in life. Like, I come to you with an idea and maybe you're like, nah. So then you go back and then you think that's a failure when it's actually not a failure. It's the wrong.
It's a step in the right direction.
Yes. So I want you to touch on that, because we've seen so much of this. Like, for instance, I'm like, hey, I started in insurance, and I'll just start right there. Okay. 10 years ago, I come in the industry. I'm with a company. I leave that company. Everyone's like, what are you doing? Like, why? What are you doing? And then we have a stint at another company for 7 months. And everyone's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're like, and everyone in their minds, you're failing. Like,
right.
Oh, what do you do? And no, bro, those 3 steps have led us to exactly where to go. It was learning along the way. Think how much, when we intersected, we had a couple months together in a distribution channel, and how much we learned there by bringing your brain in, and what we learned. And then we went to this other thing, and how much we opened up the whole financial sector, like saw everything, right? And then now we're sitting here today with all the knowledge you have. It's all been learning. But the outside looking in, they can be like, God, look at these failures. And we're sitting here going like, you have no clue. So there's always all these perspectives. But I think also, and it goes back to being around the right group of people, like at the end of the day, we could call each other, right? And you got to find this for, you can leverage us as people you start to grow with, or you got to find this in your life. And dude, like, I can call you at the end of the day and we could talk through. And it's always funny. Like, we always talk about, did we hit a home run today, or was it kind of just a day? And it's still like a triple.
Sometimes it's a bunt.
Yeah. But we're always like, but it's always moving forward. And we talk to each other real quick, and then we go about the rest of our day. But I kind of come back into it. It's those moments when you know you're on the right track, and you're not actually failing. You're learning and leaning towards where you got to go, but that outside influence can course correct you so many times. And I'm guilty of it. Man, I remember coming into the industry, and they would say, I do a couple presentations. I'm like, okay, that didn't go the way. And I would go get a whole new presentation. You know what I mean? That's failing.
Right.
I failed by not sticking to my guns. And guess what I'm doing right now, 10 years later? The same presentation I did the day I started. I changed it so many times because I allow people to influence me. And I'm like, that is not happening anymore. I'm not going to get off what I know. But you're failing because you're not sticking to what you know. Like, you sitting here firm as day, and I know this with you. You know exactly what you're explaining about this asset protection. I could say anything you explain. You know it before you say it. And if you're like, I'm going to change how I just did it because this person said no, bro, we'd be starting from scratch every day.
Well, and the other part of that is that it may not be right for them. It could be an expense they weren't willing to have. It could be any number of things. It's not just the lack of understanding.
So how have you got to the spot where you're like, because it's important for them, because it's going to be like, because this is overcoming the fear of failure or failing. What have you done in your brain to know, okay, that person said no, but the next one's coming in? Like, how have you gotten to that spot where you don't let it go in and say, because a lot of people go through, was it the cost? Was it and they'll self-analyze the whole damn thing. Right. You don't do that anymore. I watch you. You're like, boom, this is what it is. Next. And I know you care about the people sitting in front of you, but you've learned this in your I'm going to say mastering is a big word, but you've gotten very, very good at this. And it's why you're so successful in anything you do. It's not just that part. You put you in front of anything, everything you've done, but you had to have learned something or done something to stop worrying about all that. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you can help with that, because I see you do it every day.
Yeah. First, it's a decision, right? It's a decision not to. I can't care what people think about me.
Yep.
I have this understanding that the path that I must go on is one that most people don't travel.
Yep.
Right. And it's one that they choose not to travel. So if I'm going down that road, I already know I have to tune out voices. Right. And then it's about putting in the legwork for what it is you're doing so that you actually know it's going to enhance another person. Like, hitting a couple of points. Like, if somebody says no to me, I made a video the other day. It sounded so arrogant. I didn't have the courage to put it up. but it's truly how I felt. Like at this stage, like it's outlandish to me that there are people close that aren't asking any questions,
Yep.
because every month is a lifetime of achievement,
Fact.
every single month, right? So, but I just tune it out, and I dive into what I'm doing so that I know it, right? Like there's asset protection. I know all the different ways to do it.
So a way that they can overcome it is whatever you're going to do, make sure that you become the best at it.
Understand,
Okay.
you will hear negative things and negative voices, and then you have to put in the work.
Boom.
I heard Michael.
I agree with that 1,000%.
I heard Michael Jordan say, like, when he was asked, "How do you take these last shots? How do you handle the pressure?" It's kind of like, "How did you pass the test?" I did the studying.
Yes.
I put in the time. I took this shot 1,000 times. My body is conditioned to win.
Yes.
Now, does that mean you make every end of game shot?
No.
No.
But he said, I'm ready to take it.
But I'm ready to take it. And that's how you overcome it. That's how, I mean, there are times in business you fail. I opened up an office in Prescott, which is about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes away from where I'm at. And it failed. Now, did it fail? It was in the green, but something else popped up where I was like, oh, my other office is so busy, I can't do this 4-hour turnaround.
Fact.
So it shut down.
Yep.
It was a failure. It was a bad idea. But what did I learn from doing that office that I was able to bring back to my other one when it got busy enough? Right? That was the seedling back then that's turned the firm into a top 1,200 growing company. Right? That's the failure that led to the success.
Dude, and that's what I'm saying. They're all little trickle effects. They're never actually fair. They say the thing about Michael Jordan. I don't know the exact stat, but how many shot he actually made, and then how many he missed, and it's and they're like, "You're the best," and the guy missed I'm like, dude, you're not very good. You missed a lot of shots. But my point is,
think about it for a second. If you're gonna average, a great average of shooting is 50%.
50%.
And if you're gonna score that many points, you're gonna miss that many shots.
Fact. And how many game-winning shots you have in that percentage? It's even less, right? So my point is though, and this is how my brain works. And I know people think differently, but like this is how simple I know it's gonna sound ridiculous. When I went into entrepreneurship and I saw that thing about Michael Jordan, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna miss more than I'm gonna make. But the key is, am I gonna focus on the misses or the makes? And I just started to focus on the makes. I have a little strategy I do just in life where I always focus on just the last. This is how I get over every failure. I just focused on the last win I had. So let's take anything. So my relationship with my wife. So I'll be like, okay, today's not going so hot, but yesterday, man, we had a great conversation at this time. So my brain, as I'm going through the whirlwind, I'm like, man, my wife loves me. Yesterday we had a great conversation, and then my brain only focuses on that. So my energy during that interaction is locked on that. So, I try to focus on that in business. Let's say in ours, right? Someone brings a new agent on, or you help a family out, and then you get 5 no's in a row. Like, 5, 10, 10 no's in a row, right? But I'm thinking, all right, Bob came on board. Bob, like I'm on the appointment, and all I'm thinking about is Bob. If you only think about the win, your energy's different.
Right.
Think about it, your energies. If I focus on the loss or not, or whatever didn't take place, then your energy goes there. So I have a trick. I've always done it. I'm like, man. So when I'm sitting on an appointment and I'm looking at somebody, they're like, man, you're pretty good at always getting your energy across. All I'm thinking about is the last person that said yes to me. Now I could have had 10 no's in a row, but every time I'm on the appointment, I'm thinking of Mary getting that annuity. And I'm like, oh, Mary said yes. So I'm talking to you thinking you're going to have the same result. And then boom, when I get the next win, I only think about that. So you have amnesia to all the failures in between. It's something that I learned early on because I don't like losing. And you're going to lose a lot. When I say lose, you're not going to get always what you want to have. But if you focus on the winning, your energy, because people move off of energy. I watch the way you are. And I know sometimes, you don't like the video. Sometimes you feel like you're coming off, but it's your energy in that moment. And you're feeling something. And it's funny. It might come off to other people as arrogant or aggressive or why, damn, where'd that come from? But honestly, you just said it came from a place where there's people so close that I know if they just ask the right questions, they can win. They're not
Yeah.
asking. So it's a frustration in a positive way, even though it doesn't seem positive, but it's not coming from a place of something bad. But that all comes into to overcoming failure. Are you going to take constructive criticism from people that are winning so you don't have to keep falling on the same thing? And people suck at that too, to be honest with you. Like, no, but I have no problem when we've had our conversations and you give me some constructive criticism or positive stuff and I listen. You're just happen to say, hey, man, we should probably get Cindy down here and shoot her on her thing because she's killing it. And she's going to be sitting here as soon as we're done today. But like, why? I want to say this too. Maybe give your example of it. And I have my own. Like, if someone's out there right now and they feel like they're failing and somebody's trying to give them a lifeline, like, brah, this is why you're failing. Why are most people not just taking the constructive criticism to get off that track? What have you noticed in your lifetime on that?
Yeah, I mean, you have two options.
Because it's mind blowing to me.
To me, it's some people get comfortable failing, right? They get comfortable there, and it doesn't bother them. What you said something really key. I hate losing.
Hate losing,
right? I also hate losing. I dislike losing more than I like winning.
Yes, that is. I will second that.
Right?
No, it's true for you for sure.
But if somebody's taking losses, I can assure you that the answers of the tweak or whatever it is you need to do to turn those to wins is out there. But it's in those moments and in that advice and in that mentorship that the person is not willing to take. Right? So for me, when I get massive losses, I take everything as fact. Right? If you don't have that win to look back on and say, I got my thing, then that's life giving you feedback to what it is you're doing.
Fact.
And then that's the point where you look at it and say, okay, how do I tweak what I'm doing and make it so it is a win? That's the hardest thing to do. Right now, I'm not going against what you said. Like,
no, I'm with you. I agree. I'm with you.
I'm not going against what you said. But if it's
agree.
Repetitive failures, that's just a fact.
That's a fact.
And
it is.
For me, how I tell myself internally, why sometimes I come off abrasive is you're losing. Right now, you're a loser. And I'm okay with it. It doesn't affect my self-esteem.
Nope.
Because choices and decisions are what turn you into a winner.
No, it's a fact. I have that internal voice all the time. Stop being a you-know-what.
Stop being a bee. Stop doing this.
Yeah, I tell myself
that's my internal voice to myself.
I tried that a few times with other people. It doesn't really work.
Doesn't work as well.
You can't really tell them that. Right? but internal, you have to have that. You have to have that internal voice that pushes you. And I just
here. Let me finish my thought.
Yeah, go.
If you want to win, you have to the understanding of the mind and fortifying your mind and what it is you're doing. It's a fine line between taking constructive criticism and tweaking something and doing something different and not giving your chance a self to develop, right? The first time you do anything, if you take that as a snapshot, even if you win the first time, if you develop that skill a year later,
so
you'll laugh at the way you did it before, right? So it's being willing to endure the process long enough that you get to your success. People quit before they get there.
Bro, you're triggering something. Keep going.
Right?
You're doing
People
so good.
quit before they get to where all the hard work pays off in a moment. And then that's the fuel you said you needed to keep moving. But I mean, I'm telling you, every experience I've had, it feels like it's not going to work until it does.
Bro, listen, you just hit this on the head. So this is the winningest coach for UConn. He's beat the record all for men and women, right? And this is what he says. We never sat down and said, hey, let's make a 40-year plan and see if we can make this happen. It's about coming in here every day and trying to be better than we were yesterday.
100.
Bro, you just said, like, if you just do a little bit towards it in 365 days, you're going to be where you want to be. But dude, this is literally, when I saw this morning, I was gonna screenshot to you because you talk about this all the time. We mean you go back and forth. They didn't. Hey, let's make a 40-year plan that I'm gonna be the winningest coach ever and be like, come on, bro. Like, and look what the players said. And bro, go straight to this. One of the best players they had. It was the alumni was all there. Who knew that playing hard, playing smart, and having fun would get you here. I guess you two knew, and that's all that mattered. I'm getting chills right now, bro. Who thought playing hard, playing smart, and having fun would get us to be the most winning program ever? This guy for 40 years never got off as the coach.
Yeah.
Ever. And you know what he said his legacy is? He gives credit to everybody else around him, and he doesn't really take it for himself. This is one of the players. But what he's built here, it's here because of him. So he definitely downplays it. He doesn't want to do the whole thing, the celebration, the goat, the ice cream. It sounds very familiar. It's an extra to him, but he deserves it, and we want to celebrate him. This is what he said. No amount of championships and no amount of numbers of awards can take the place of the lives that we've impacted. That's what's allowed us to give the biggest. That's that they've allowed us to impact. Sorry. So no amount of championships this is the coach, and no amount of numbers or awards can take the place of the lives that we've impacted, that they've allowed us to impact. That was it. That was the entire message. After becoming the winningest coach ever, and he went to the first thing. Who would have known? Playing hard, playing smart, doing the little things every day are going to get us where we got to go. And I know this is something we preach all the time. It's the little things, but you just said it. That's how failure doesn't become failure anymore.
Exactly.
If you're doing the 1%, we have 1% more every day, all these little things, they're not little things. Like when you see people winning and they're telling you this is what the things you need to do it, guys, it's not going to be easy. Let's just lay this out first. It never we like to win. So when we lose, we don't like it either. When we got 3 appointments in front of us today and all 3 say no, we don't be like, yeah, it's part of the winning formula. No, there's energy that goes towards it. We want to win. But we've developed a mind that we can imprint onto your minds that it's part of it. We literally started the show saying, oh my God, we love this one.
Yeah.
We love it. The things you fall in love with make you become the best thing and best parts of your life. So if you know that it says right here, failure is the key to success, or failing or learning, or however you want to use the word, then you have to fall in love with it. We fell in love with it. It's a game to us. It's a game. It's a part of it, but you fall in love with it. Like, okay, once we see one, like you said, the office closed. You knew right then because you've understand the success formula. You're like, oh, something big's coming. Like you know it's.
You know exactly what I thought in that moment is I learned from it. The failure was, I mean, I wanted to be up in Prescott sometimes, and I thought it'd be nice to go there.
Yeah.
But the failure was, it takes too long to get there. Well, I have other offices close to me now.
Fact.
So I learned from it, and it led to massive success.
Let me ask you a question, though. How many times were you able to go back and forth to that office? Like, how long did you have it open for?
Probably about 4 months, 6 months.
So you got 4 to 6 months. You got to go to Prescott like you wanted to.
Oh,
so
yeah,
dude,
they
hey,
paid for the
dude, this is
no,
so.
but
This is what I love about it. Like, dude, if outside looking in, like, oh, that guy just closed his office. He's failing. You're like, bro, I just did 4 to 6 months back to where I wanted to go. Hey, I learned from it. This is not advantageous for where I want to go next. But the 4 to 6 months, dude, you were down there by the trees. I know Prescott's beautiful.
Yeah.
You got to get away from the valley. You know, all that.
Yeah, it was right on Whiskey Row.
Dude, it's beautiful.
It was awesome.
Dude.
It just became a thing where it's like, okay, time factor.
You just gave me this. Hold on. You just gave me this. Oh, dude, I could kiss you on the forehead if I could right now.
Here, I'll lean in.
It all goes back to the very thing you said in the beginning. What if we allow other people to tell us what it is, we start to believe we're failing. You just lit up like a freaking Christmas tree right now. But if I'm looking from the outside in and I'm your competitor, I'm like, oh, Andre's losing. Look, or I'm a hater, or someone doesn't care about you, or someone that wants you to lose. That's why we think we're failing, by the way. I've been around you now for a couple years. I don't think we've ever said one thing to each other, ever, about anything that we've made a decision on that was a failure. Not one time. I'm saying me and you have not sat down and said, oh, that's you're a fail. You failed there. You did. We have not once. So when you get around the right environment, we've made bad. Let me take a step back. I've made a handful of them, but you've never said to me, oh, you failed there. Hey, what did you learn? This is what we say. This is when you get in the right environment. I'm telling you, if you are not sharing this show and you're not getting, listen, forget the show. Oh, I watched your podcast. Bro, if you're not trying to get closer to what I'm saying, every single show we're giving you a little bit more and a little bit more of like, if you get in our ecosystem, like how we are and how we think. Yeah, we're laid back, we're chill, we're cool. But then I just told you, guys, I made a 7-month, probably colossal bad decision. We learned, but it was and you even said, hey, before it even went down the road, but you allowed me to go down the journey. This is why I respect you, right? You saw it ahead of me, But you said, all right, dude, this is how this works in life. If you don't travel this road, you will not learn. And now look at where we're at today because of that thing. You could have said, you could easily give me the lifeline and pull me away faster. And I know there was times that you tried, and I'm a freaking Brahma bull, so I just run very fast, right? But we
Hang on,
also have to be in there. It's important. This is very important.
Real quick in there, it's like it's kind of exactly what we're talking about. In that quick moment, wasn't a big deal, but in that quick moment, like, how am I gonna let what you're doing affect what I know?
Yes.
And vice versa.
Yep.
Because I don't think it was a failure. I'm gonna say this out loud.
It wasn't at all, dude.
We learned so much,
dude,
in that 7 months. That's a direct result of the winning that's happening right now.
Bro, that 7 months, what we've done in 90 days after that 7 month stint has never been done. I just talked to a provider yesterday. It's never been done. What they're seeing and everything that we're doing
never been done.
They're like, dude, this is insane. And then we couple what you've had already brought, bro. It's never been done. They don't understand. That guy flew down, literally didn't understand. He couldn't figure it out. What is going on? And you can't even explain it. But you know what it is?
That's exactly what my video was about. That's exactly what it was about. It was this idea of like, we are literally revolutionizing this industry. All the senior people, all the providers, all of the executives see it, and they're trying to figure it out. We are killing it so much that it sort of feels like everybody else doesn't know what they're doing.
Well, I would agree with that. I mean, we've seen it from an inside lens.
Right? I'm like, you guys don't see it? They don't see it, right? But the point, getting back to your point, what did everybody say to us all along the way, right? And that's where a little bit of the dog comes out. It's like, you guys are going to fail. You don't know what you're doing. It'll never work.
Oh my, all of it.
Right? All of it. And then you go through this 7-month journey of just somebody halting you at every moment from your greatness. And when you get on the other side of it, like, that is all failure, right? We were failing forward. You fail forward and you stack the losses on top of each other so then you can see the success. That's how it works, right? And that's what was firing me up the other day. I was realizing, like, we got this.
We got it.
Like, this is another one of those moments where say no to me at your own peril if you want to, because God has been working
the whole time,
right? And we've been good students and stewards of that information and of that spirit, where it's like, he wants this more than we want it.
Fact. Dude, he's busting down the doors with it.
Busting down the doors.
And here's I'll end with for me today. Let's just take this podcast. Let's be real for 1 minute, right? We literally like, we should, how can we get our information out faster to more people? And we're like, hey, let's do a podcast, put it together, right? Bro, we didn't know what the hell we were doing.
No.
Talking about we're failing forward right now in front of you. Like,
yes.
Dude, like, straight up. Like, this is what I love, dude. Like, sometimes the freaking thing falls off the wall. And I was like, what? But remember when we started? Just think about this. And dude, we had to set up, and the wires were on the table, and certain, like, bro, we were just going.
Hey, and the sound quality.
Yeah. And bro, let me tell you, we had a lot of people really pointing out how shitty everything was. Yeah. And I'm like, I thought it was freaking awesome. I have never shot one before, and I thought it was cool. And yes, does it evolve over time? But here's the reality. We never listened to, I didn't care. Like, oh, this got to get done. This has to get done. Here's what did you just say this morning? Man, I got a text from somebody that said, dude, like, I appreciate you putting this out. It's helping me. That's all. I don't care if I get one text every month off the video we put out, and it's one person saved or one person moving in a direction they want to go for their life, we're doing our job. There could be 1,000 people telling us how bad it is. Someone told someone the other day, hey, you guys are kind of boring. Yeah. So they said on there, I'm like, cool, awesome. But you must have watched the whole fucking show. So did you watch the whole thing? How boring were we? I don't know. But I'm like, but I could take that and say, oh my God, no. This whole world, if Michael Jordan missed 50% of his shots, then 50% of the people watching ain't going to listen to it anyway. We're looking for I only focus on the wins. And I just tell you this, I'm going to give you the success formula for our show. I only listen to 50% of people that are listening. I just sat around a group of people that came to Texas that literally said, man, your guys' show is really helping my life. I don't know if that's making her a better mother. I don't know if it's making her a better business person. Didn't get into what it actually is doing. Those words, we got to do another show this week. Bro, we are busy.
Facts.
We have a lot going on. We have a whole slew of shows coming behind us after this. Now we got like a train of shows. I don't know what's happening here, right? But you know what? I appreciate you, dude. I know how busy you are. I know how much is going on in your life. I know we're both running. And dude, like, all we have to do, I'm speaking to us right now on this show, is that text I heard you say, we're getting it done. I was at football practice and the kids are watching and they're looking up to something that's not fake, not unreal. Like, dude, listen, we were talking, how the hell do you sit in these chairs? Maybe we need chairs that recline back or something. I don't know. Like, who cares? Like, but yeah, we're trying to figure.
Do I sit like this?
Yeah, dude, we're like, does our feet go on here next time? Does it come down? Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, bro, what I respect you about the most, and we're doing these topics, we're doing these things. Guys, get in our ecosystem. Like, we can only give so much on this. If you actually get around us, you're going to realize, like, there's way more depth to what's all going on. But we are this. This is what we get, dude. Like, we're just two dudes. And guys, we're building billion-dollar companies and a billion-dollar company in the midst of this whole expansion. And when we're kind of looking at each other like, man, we made the right choice. That's us actually talking to each other right now, live on screen. Like, all those dudes were telling us, don't do it. You're not going to make it. I got a call yesterday for someone, a whole nother story why we left. And it wasn't, I'm like, I don't know where this is coming from, a whole planet. And I'm like, while they're all doing that, bro, we're trusting each other. We're trusting our people around us, and we're winning at a high level. And like, why am I doing that right now on this? Because guys, stop trying to be so damn perfect. Stop trying to think it's all going to work. If you get around our ecosystem, share this around, hit us up, send some comments, bro, we will change your damn life. I'm telling you, we're doing it lifetime. But why not be with people that are where they're at now, very successful, going where we're going, and be part of that journey with us, man. So I just want to touch on that.
Here's
because,
what I feel like saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, watch all the other episodes, critique, study your thoughts, think about what you're seeing. But when you're done with all of that, just understand this. You're watching two people build a billion-dollar company right before your eyes. You talk all the trash you want, or you could say all the positive things, right? But we know what God called us to do, and it's happening. And that's what was inspiring me the other day. Like, we are actually doing this, and it's happening, and people are watching, and they're saying whatever they're saying. But it's crazy to me. Like, there's this moment that happened in your life already, or where it's like, I could have been a part of that.
Boom.
Right? I could have been a part of that if I had just opened up my mind. And I'm standing around people all day long, and they're pretending like we're doing something normal. Pretending. I don't know the reasons why, but like, next month is going to be different. I'm telling you that right now. A year from now, look at the same podcast and it will be different, right? We are winning big, right? So let's wrap this up.
Yeah, wrap it.
The reason we are winning big is because we failed our way forward.
Boom.
And didn't listen to the naysayers, right? Because they're irrelevant, because they don't know what they're doing, right? People who don't know what they're doing like to tell you, you don't know what you're doing. And I just say, I don't accept, right? So fail your way forward to success, because God only knows where it's going to lead you, right?
Here's the deal. Fail with us. You better get this ecosystem, because I'm telling you, I'm speaking of the ones that actually are following, because we have some good ones out there. Guys, get more involved. Get on the comments, and I'm telling you, get on this wave, because the freight train's coming, and it's going to be exciting. And for us to do it as fast as we want, we need the positive juice. We don't care about all the negative. We don't care about that. But the ones that do, comment, like, share, and become some of the leaders that are going to help us take it to that billion-dollar company. We need them. So come get in our ecosystem, baby. Let's rock and roll. Bada bing, bada boom.